Hi, plant buddies. As most of you already know, I recently won the Halloween costume contest at my favorite plant store here in Minnesota called Lost in the Forest. And I thought it might be fun to take you along today to go spend my gift card and see what we can find there. I did notice on their website this week, which is lostintheforestco.com, forest with two R's like the owner's name. I noticed on there that they got a new shipment and got some new Aglaonemas this week. So I'm excited to take a look at those while I've got some gift card money to spend. Just kind of sitting here this morning, still trying to wake up. Drinking my coffee here. Um, and then I just wanted to show you while we're here. I did spot as I was setting up to make this video that my Syngonium lanocarty Road, also sometimes called Red Arrow, has gotten its first new leaf since I chopped it off. So that's exciting. I get these beautiful red backsides to the leaves, which is kind of my favorite part about the plant. So now I will just need to make sure that I don't let that dry out again and lose all of its leaves. So I'm going to have to keep that well watered in the future here. But yeah, I'm excited to go look at some plants at Lost in the Forest here. So get in. We're going shopping. All right, so the first thing I noticed walking into Lost in the Forest is that they do have their Christmas items out. They had a lot of beautiful planters, some like dishes and things like that. Those bottle brush Christmas trees, which I'm a fan of those. And then I really loved this snowflake planter. Um, I'm kind of tempted to get that one. So at the end of this video, I will be doing a unboxing or unbagging video of what I spent my gift card and possibly a little bit more than the gift card money on today. I think I'm going to pick up some of these Christmas planters in a moment here. I do always try to avoid getting other shoppers in the videos, and the store was really busy today, which is a good thing, but makes it a little difficult for filming. And there's their Christmas tree. I had to get that. That mushroom ornament on the front there, I actually bought one of those last year for one of my Christmas trees. And then I like those tiny little planters hanging on the gold pot there. I don't know if those are intended to be Christmas tree ornaments, but I think they would be cute on a Christmas tree. Maybe even with like a little propagation in there. I also really loved this green pot with the trees on it. I was kind of contemplating maybe getting one of those. I like the idea of Christmas planters, but um, when you have a lot of plants, it would be really difficult to have very many of those and be trying to switch those kind of catch pots out for the holiday. I have a couple that I got last year that are just red with snowflakes, and they've been waiting patiently in the closet to come back out soon here for Christmas season. That was a cute little pot there. It says fa la 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 la, and it has a Santa, a gingerbread man, and some holly. And then I realized the coast was clear of shoppers this way, so I headed straight to the Aglaonema as usual, because they are my favorite, of course. And I quickly realized that most of the new Aglaonema were actually not in this section, so we're going to find those in a little bit here. But these larger Aglaonema bamboo right here, those are from their new shipment. And I do have one of those, but it's really small, so those were kind of tempting to maybe get one of those. And there was another new one next to this that I hadn't seen yet, and I believe the name of this one it's a pictum, and I think it is a Aglaonema pictum peacock, I believe. But so just like the kind of camouflaged one, but without the speckling, it has more of a silver stripe down the center, as you can see. But you can see it has those kind of almost velvety leaves like the Pictum tricolor behind it there. And so that was potentially tempting to get, although in my opinion those pictums are a little bit more difficult to care for. They're not quite as drought tolerant or unpicky about their watering. And then this next one I'm going to pick up here, I do actually have this one at home already. That is an Aglaonema baby tiger. And I wasn't sure at first what it was, and I realized even before I looked at the label, I realized that that was the baby tiger. I think that's just the last one they have left in the store there. Beautiful Diefenbachia there. And then I'm going to try to kind of make my way through the store here without, again, without catching other shoppers. So it's kind of making my way towards the back, showing some of these Diefenbachia here. I always think that Diefenbachia remind me a lot of Aglaonema, but in my opinion, just more difficult to care for because they do like a lot of water, and they also need high light levels, whereas Aglaonema don't need as high of light. This one is Diefenbachia Big Ben. Has some beautiful variegation, as you can see there, and some very large leaves as well. So I had to admire that one as I passed through there. Then we're seeing some Monsteras there. And then we're going to look at this planter that I have had my eye on for a really long time. It kind of looks like stucco, in my opinion, just the pattern to it and the color. And I have been admiring that for quite a while now. And when I first realized that I won the gift card, um, that was kind of the first item that popped into mind that I was thinking about purchasing when I went to go use the gift card. So these are some Philodendron Glorious right here. They're a hybrid between a Gloriosum and I forget which other type. And then these are some beautiful Philodendron Congo nuclear. Oh, I can never say that. Nuclear. And I was noticing how the prices have really come down on these. So those are, I was kind of tempted to potentially buy one of those. That smaller little pot there in particular was very affordable. But I love the variegation on those, how it's kind of like an almost neon green or really bright yellow color. And I was remembering about probably 3 years ago when I first saw Congo Nuclear, there was a little 2-inch pot like that first one that I picked up there, and it was going for $1,000 back then. So these have definitely come way down more into my kind of price range, but took a few years, but eventually they got a little bit more affordable. So those are just absolutely beautiful. So kind of tempted to maybe pick up one of those. Then I was just panning through this again, kind of making my way to the back of the store. These were some puzzles. Seems like they've gotten even more gift items like that in. I think those were new. And then I'm kind of walking through the gift item in the center here. There's like mugs and books and little kitchen items and all kinds of little gift items like that. And then I realized I got here underneath the gazebo area of the store, inside the store, and I realized some of the new plants from the shipment were right here. This first one is a Hoya New Guinea Ghost, and that one really caught my eye. It's very silver, very beautiful. And this next one, I'm hoping I can make out the label here. It is a Hoya, I think a Hushkiliana variegated. And then this next one, I actually thought these were tiny little blue oil ferns when I first spotted them. But this one is actually another Hoya. And again, hoping I can make out the tag here. Insularis, Hoya insularis. I thought those were really cool. They look, again, like I was saying, like a blue oil fern with the really long fronds that a blue oil fern would have. And then starting to kind of repeat some. Those were more New Guinea ghosts there. And I thought this one was especially beautiful as well. Hoping I can make out the tag. Something that starts with a W. I couldn't quite make that one out, but as you can see, really beautiful colors in the leaves on that one. I also always think those tiny little hanging baskets like that are so cute. They're like a little 4-inch hanging basket. And then I'm also going to pick up one of these ones that are trailing down from the hanging basket here. I thought those were beautiful, had some beautiful variegation. I think those are Hoya Bella something. I missed kind of the last part of the name, but some type of a Hoya Bella, I believe, was what that said. And then I found where the new Aglaonema were, which is on the bottom of this display right here. And those were definitely something I was in search of. I knew that I would probably take at least one of those home with me today. But yeah, they're a beautiful, beautiful selection of Aglaonema right here. This first one is the Aglaonema Fortune, the one with the pink speckles on the leaves there. That is one I don't have in my collection, and again, all of these varieties here are possibilities to maybe spend my gift card on. Absolutely beautiful. And this next one, I think I'm about to pick up that little guy. Yeah, that is an Aglaonema Yolk Siam White. So it's a green variegated Hoya, or excuse me, Aglaonema. And that one wasn't a new one, it just kind of moved there. I think that one used to be in the cabinet. And then this next one is the Aglaonema Red Vein. And I have one that looks very similar to this. It's called Red Mojo, and I've honestly always wondered if those two are the same Aglaonema, but maybe just different names from different growers, which can be a common occurrence.
Oh, I actually just got one of those.
And I cut the video briefly there. I was talking to one of the employees. This is an Philodendron Jungle Fever. I have always admired these, and they have also come down in price over the last couple of years here. They get some beautiful yellow variegation. They do get really wide though. And then that one is an Aglaonema comitatum variegated in the back there. And this first pass, I actually didn't realize there's a couple different types of Aglaonema in that section there, but we're going to come back to that a little bit later. This one is Aglaonema Green Dragon. Has some really like fluorescent green or yellow colored kind of variegation to it. And again, that was one of the new ones. They haven't had that one in the store before. It's really beautiful. I like that one. And it reminds me of a Diefenbachia, the coloration of it. But again, in my opinion, I think Aglaonema are much easier to care for than Diefenbachia regarding water and light needs. And then this one is Aglaonema Honey Lemon. And it's another one that has kind of that almost neon green or yellow variegation to it. I spotted these on their website this week when they got their new shipment, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be purchasing one of those. If I were to only purchase one Aglaonema today, I think that would be the one. I think that one is beautiful. So I was honestly kind of starting to set some aside there to choose which one I might want to bring home with me. Is why I placed that one down on the floor there. Kind of like how they almost have like, or they do have kind of a silver coloration around the edges too. And I never really noticed that about that particular Aglaonema before when I've looked at them online. This was the first time I've looked at them in person, or seen them in person, so. That next one I picked up was also extremely beautiful. As you can see, I'm kind of setting that one aside too as I start to kind of make my choice of which one of those I may want to purchase today. so bright. I love their bright variegation. And I had some more there. That one had a little bit less variegation than some of the others, not quite as brightly colored. So it's probably going to be between those first two that I placed on the floor there. I kind of tend to do that. Like, I'll look through the whole batch of plants and I'll pick out all the ones I think are super beautiful and then kind of go through and make my elimination process from there. And sometimes I have a really hard time deciding. Like, one will have more leaves, or one will be a little bit more full, or have a little bit better coloration. And a lot of times I'll get down to like a couple options, and it'll be a little bit of a hard decision, like which one I like better and want to purchase. But there's some new plants up on the top here as well. I've always loved these variegated philodendron micans. This is the original variegated form with the kind of yellow colored variegation. And I've always thought that those are really beautiful. Um, they definitely have not come down in price since I first saw them in person within the last couple years or so here. But very beautiful. I like their bright colored variegation. And then we're gonna see what else they have on the top shelf here. Alocasia had some really beautiful variegation to it as well. And I'm gonna hopefully find the tag and be able to read it. Looks like a dragon scale mint is what that one was. Really pretty. I don't tend to get alocasias just because they are kind of a thirsty plant and they can go dormant and things like that. Not the easiest plant to grow, in my opinion. And then these were some variegated philodendron golden crocodile. I had a huge batch of them here, and I think those have come down a little bit in price too. Really pretty. Those sawtooth leaf type of philodendrons do get really wide though, so I'm kind of trying not to add any more of those to my collection. They take up a lot of space once they get large, and I've already got the green one, the Ring of Fire, and the regular golden crocodile. And then these ones are the philodendron pink micans. I think this is my first time seeing these in person, and I was kind of shocked at how some of the leaves are just completely variegated. Makes me wonder if that would be a little bit of a challenging plant to take care of, because it's going to be a little bit weaker with having such a high level of variegated leaves. But they are really pretty. Just look at the really pink leaves on that one in the front there. Had kind of two big pink ones hanging over the edge. That is a Philodendron Florida Beauty, a very beautiful one. And then I was just kind of panning over these new Philodendron Pink Princess that they got here. I had some really nice pink variegation to them. And I believe at that moment, someone was also walking through on the other side of the shelf, so I was kind of trying to bide my time until I could go a different direction with the camera. So, nonetheless, I mean, these are really beautiful. They have some really nice variegation, so I did want to show them in the video. Very pink, very big sectoral chunks of pink on those. And then I really liked those planters on the bottom row there that have kind of like almost an arm on both sides. I thought those are really cool, and that is what I was waiting for the people to pass by so I could kind of zoom in on that. That top one there would be a really good Christmas planter with the triangles. They kind of look like little pine trees. And I do actually have one of those. I don't just use it for Christmas, though. I put it up year round. And then we're back to the Aglaonema here. This one I believe is the Chet Patch. Yeah, okay. This is when I went back to the Aglaonema section there once I realized that there were a couple different types in that particular spot there. And it does look like I unfortunately filmed this little piece in vertical instead of horizontal like I should have. But so there were Chet Patch and what was that other one called with the pink on it? The name is escaping me. Oh, Fortune. So I had the Chet Patch, which will be up on the top there, and then the Fortune were on the bottom, the ones that have more pink in them. And when I first passed by there, I didn't notice that there were two different types. I also actually at first thought these were going to be Aglaonema right here, and these are actually the Philodendron Pink Birkin. They're extremely beautiful. This is actually my first time seeing those in person as well. But yeah, I was looking at them from a distance, and I absolutely thought that they were Aglaonema before I walked up to those. And then they had another part of the new shipment here, these beautiful um, Syngonium chiapense variegated. I've always really liked those. I do have one of those. That's actually what I purchased with my gift card from winning the Halloween contest, costume contest last year at Lost in the Forest. Which that means that I've actually had my variegated chia pence for almost a year now. I think it was sometime in November when I purchased that. And it was a few weeks after the costume contest. I was actually kind of waiting for them to get those in last year to spend my gift card on. And then these beautiful Aglaonema right here are the Aglaonema Red Army. Um, I used to have one of these that was a lot smaller than this, and I accidentally sent it to Plant Heaven. I think I may have overwatered it, or excuse me, underwatered it too many times, and probably gave it like dry rot, but it kind of slowly died. So it is tempting to get another one of those. And these particular ones have some really big, beautiful leaves, much larger than the former plant that I had of that type. Really like the red like veining or stripes on the leaves on that one. And then I just thought these little monsteras here were really cute. And I believe these were white monster. I should show the tag in a moment here. And this might actually be my first time I've ever seen one of those in person as well. The Monstera White Monster. I like how they have really, really white leaves on them. And then I just thought these peperomia were really cute here. A lot of them were labeled as mixed peperomia, so I couldn't really tell what all the different colors were. I really liked this one in the center here with the red and silver on the leaves, and it was very sparkly as well. I liked this kind of pink or peach colored one as well here. And then the larger ones right behind that are, of course, the classic Aglaonema, or excuse me, sorry, the Peperomia Frost. But as you can see, they had all different colors of those ones that have the kind of crinkly leaves like the Frost does. I have heard that those ones are a little bit more picky than other types of Peperomia. So I have never had one so far, but I am really tempted to at some point get a Peperomia Frost. I just think their silver sparkly leaves are so beautiful. And they had a couple big sections of Peperomia in the back here. And so I knew these must not be part of the ones that were just labeled as the mixed ones, so I tried to pick up a couple of these and see what the names of them were. I should pick this one up in a moment here. I want to say it was Russo, but let's see if we can make out the tag and find out for sure. But had some really pretty colored, like kind of reddy orangey colored backs to the leaves on this one here. Ooh, I couldn't quite make that out fast enough there. But whatever it is beautiful. I think the name started with an R. It might be like Rousseau or something along those lines. This one had some really beautiful like striping or variegation to it. And we'll see if we can make out the name here. Um, Not quite. It's behind that voiceover box again. And then I noticed too when I first show the tag, it's really blurry until I refocus the camera, and um, yeah, just couldn't make that out. These ones are really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen one of these peperomia in person before. That's a peperomia stilt, and from the way it grows with those um, long stems, I can kind of see how it got that name. And then we're going to cross over here. I'm kind of making my way to something specific on the other side here that I'm interested in. These are the philodendron El Choco Red, and I used to have one of those. I also sent that to Plant Heaven, and that was about the time that I decided I am not going to add any more velvety leaf philodendron to my collection because they are a little bit pickier on watering and they're a lot pickier about humidity. And then I panned over some beautiful philodendron Florida Ghost here with some very white leaves on them. This fern here, that is a crocodile fern. I always think those have really cool patterning to the leaves. And then we're passing over some staghorn fern. These cool variegated ones here. And where we're headed is over to the blue oil fern. And so I'm very tempted to get one of these. I'm not good with ferns, but I have heard that these are quite a bit easier to care for than the thin-leafed ferns. And I really like the way that these kind of have the blue iridescent coloration to them. I've always thought that they're really cool, and they've definitely come down quite a bit in price from when I first finally saw one in person. And these always remind me of Kaylee Ellen on YouTube. She was the first person that I ever saw that had one of these. And I want to say that she coined the term blue oily boy when describing that fern. But I was kind of trying to show how they have the like iridescent blue coloration to them. They're very beautiful. And then this one with the really large leaves here, it actually has the spores on it, which I think that's really cool. The first time I saw these at Lost in the Forest, they had some with larger leaves like that that had the spores, but I always just think those look really cool. If you did not realize you were looking at a fern, you might mistake those for like some sort of a pest. But the first time I spotted them, I immediately knew what they were. And then I spotted those spores on the back of the leaves, and I thought that just looks really cool. And then we kind of panned over the Marantas and Calatheas here. That one on the floor right there is really velvety, really pretty. I'm sure it is very thirsty as well and hard to care for. And then I was carrying my Aglaonema around, so I had to grab him before I moved on to the next place. And I picked a good day to go. They actually had some second chance plants, which are like a clearance plants, so to speak. They're just trying to kind of um, make room for new stock and that sort of thing. Some of them might be growing funny or kind of struggling a little bit or that sort of thing. I'm not sure what those were. Those might have been some kind of Discidia that I just passed over there. But they had the hanging baskets of those, and then like the little 4-inch pots of them. And again, all for like cheaper prices than what those would normally go for. And then they had these Philodendron gloriosum here. I definitely will not be adding another one of those to my collection. I have one right now, and really doesn't like my house. It gets mad in winter when the humidity goes down. And then these were Philodendron rugosum. And again, these are all part of that kind of clearance, or they call them second chance plants. So I was looking through the tables of those to see if there were any good deals. Those are some Kalanchoe right there. And then another one that was tempting to me here was these are Philodendron Red Anderson. And that is the one that I couldn't remember the name when I made my Lost in the Forest tour videos. But yeah, those used to be pretty pricey like a few years back too, and now they're not only are they much more normally priced, but these ones are also on clearance here, so that is kind of tempting. And then this big monstera with a big large pot was down on the end here. Had just a couple of leaves, and I could see some specks of variegation on the one, so I don't know if those were like um, a reverting elbow or kind of what that was, but sometimes with the second chance plants, it can be hard to figure out what type of plant it is because sometimes those sale labels will cover up the original label. That's a Geonanthus right there. I do remember I was admiring those when I made my Lost in the Forest tour videos a while back. And looks like those have gone on clearance at this point. And then I spotted uh, an Aglaonema in the second chance plants, which is fairly rare to see just because obviously they don't often carry as many Aglaonema as they do of things like Philodendron and Monstera, stuff like that. So they don't maybe tend to, I guess, sit around as long where they eventually end up in the second chance plants section. But so I spotted those two, and I'm pretty tempted to buy those, I must say. This one is Aglaonema Maria Christina, the one that I'm holding right now, and the little bit smaller one there was a Aglaonema Commutatum. And I remember seeing that one listed on their website, and the little one from before this, and it was listed as Aglaonema Commutatum reverted variegated. So it came from a variegated plant, but it doesn't have the variegation, or it lost that. They had a bunch of bromeliads here. I always like those ones with the bright pink in the center with the stripes on the leaves. Those are pretty. I think I might be picking one of them up to look at the price here. Don't remember how much those were. That first Aglaonema, or the second Aglaonema in the section back there, the Maria Christina, that one was actually only $5. So I can tell you right now, pretty much that is going to end up in my unboxing or unbagging at the end of this video, of course. I mean, who could pass up an Aglaonema for $5? Like, it's a no-brainer. They had some anthuriums in here that were maybe struggling a little bit or just kind of trying to clearance those out. That's a Philodendron domesticum variegated. And I'm honestly actually not sure what this one with the yellow leaves is. To be honest, I'm not sure if the leaves are supposed to be yellow like that. It could be a Philodendron moonlight, which those do have kind of a yellowy colored leaf to them, but I was trying to look at the label and I couldn't find anything other than just the second chance or clearance label on there, so I was not 100% sure what that one was. This is actually one of those Philodendron jungle fever right here. It looks like it maybe doesn't have the best variegation, which is another thing that can kind of land plants in the clearance section or the second chance plants section. And I didn't dig through those real well. There might have been some other various philodendrons. See a philodendron frosted ghost, or sorry, philodendron Florida ghost right there. These are some Monstera standleiana right here. There's a bunch of those there. And some kind of Monstera with the pole there. These are some peace lilies in like a big 6 or 7 inch pot right here. And actually, I didn't notice when I was at the store. The one on the left is one of those variegated peace lilies. The one with kind of the silver variegation. I think that one with the big leaves. I'm not sure if that was a banana or maybe a bird of paradise. And then these were some philodendron Jose Bono right here. Kind of tempted to get one of those. I have one that is reverted to just green leaves. It's also really large. So I don't know if I need another plant that's going to get really large when I already have a similar plant that is extremely large. But and then it looks like all the caladiums ended up in the second chance plants section here. I remember from my tour videos they were just labeled as assorted caladium, so I'm not really sure what those varieties are. There's some kind of hybrid, I'm sure, but and then I think we had some alocasia. Yeah, I can't quite make out the label. Those look like alocasia leaves, though. And I think we're almost done with the second chance. This is just the same bromeliads that were on the other side of this table. I think I missed something on the table behind me that I was trying to get down here to show. Bunch of alocasias there. And more. And more alocasias. See, if I had an alocasia, it would end up in the second chance plants and or dead table. So again, I don't really do alocasias, but just kind of the back of those are some more of those philodendron rugosum. Oh, I was trying to get over here to look at these, and I don't know if I can make out the label. I thought they were going to be, yeah, the old label kind of got wet at some point, it looks like. I think those might be silver dollar vine. They look like they could be, but yeah, the old labels were kind of worn off, so I couldn't really make out the name on those. And then we're kind of right back where we started. And so I moved up to the front. I wanted to catch some of the Christmas plants. We had the Norfolk Island pines there, and then a beautiful selection of Thanksgiving cactus here. I do notice around the holidays when you see these plants and they're labeled as either Christmas cactus or holiday cactus, I would say 99% of the time they are the Thanksgiving cactus, the one with the little hooked shapes on the leaves. And right in that frame, the red and the white, I actually have those two colors of Thanksgiving cactus. Um, Mine don't bloom very often for me though. They are kind of picky about the levels of light, and I think temperature is what triggers them to bloom. Then we're kind of just panning over the alocasia table here, making our way more towards the back of the store again here. Oh, and actually, I just remembered why I was trying to make my way over to this area here. I wanted to show the Hoya over to the left here. These are the Epipremnum amplissumum here. Looks like they might have some silver ones and the variegated ones kind of in the same section here. I really like the variegated ones. I think those are beautiful. I've always kind of contemplated maybe getting one of those. And then I spotted, I didn't realize they had the mermaid Hoya right here, or the Hoya polynera. I always thought those are pretty cool, but also that right here, this is the Hoya linearis. And I always think those kind of look like green beans, like tiny little green beans maybe, but that's such an interesting looking Hoya. And then I was just going to pick up one of the polynera here. I always think these are really cool too. You can really see the veining, especially with the light shining through from behind it there. Yeah, look at that. Those are so cool. Little baby ones there in the little 2-inch planters or pots. So yeah, I've always kind of been tempted to maybe get a Polynera or a Linearis. Thought those are both really cool. Then I was just curious about these anthuriums here. I had to pick one up. I like the texture of the leaves and the red coloration on the younger leaves. I think that was a Radicans times or Radicans crossed with Luxurians, I believe. Really beautiful plant. But yeah, I was more so just kind of curious what that particular one was, so I had to pick it up and take a look. And then we're gonna actually make our way over to the rare plant cabinets. Just kind of crossing through the gift section again here. So I figured I'd pan over some of that stuff. There's some more Christmas things kind of mixed in there. Those little wooden dogs with the Santa hats I thought were kind of cute. And some more bottle brush trees, cutting board, some sports stuff and Minnesota stuff there, some more books. But we are cutting through there to head over to the plant cabinets because they have a rare Aglaonema, actually two of them, in this cabinet on the right here. And I showed a lot of this stuff on my tour video because that was just a few weeks back, so I'm not going to go through the whole rare plant cabinet, but I absolutely did have to show these beautiful Aglaonema Hello Kitty on the bottom here. And I actually just got one of these last week it came. But otherwise I definitely would have been in the market for one of those when I spotted that they had them in stock. I think the Hello Kitty is a very beautiful Aglaonema. I liked that pink leaf where it had the green with the yellow edging there. And that's more what I'm kind of used to them looking like when I've seen them online, especially in videos from Indonesia, which is I think where those were probably hybridized and created. But I noticed that mine and the ones that they had here had a really high degree of variegation. The red sections. Um, I'm used to seeing it more with like a green all the way around the edge. And then I feel like that yellow edging really pops, like on the leaf to the right, left, right here, and the one on the right, I guess too. You can see the yellow border between the red and the green there, but nonetheless, very beautiful Aglaonema. And again, if I hadn't just gotten one of those not too long ago, um, that would have probably been what I purchased. Very beautiful. And then this one is an Anthurium. I think it's a variegated Hookerii. They had a bigger one in the back there, but I just picked up the little one because it was easy to take out, and I was just curious again what that was. Very beautiful variegation on those. But yeah, we'll put him back in there. Oh, had to get another shot of the beautiful Aglaonema Hello Kitty before I close the doors of the cabinet. And then, oh, I remember what I wanted to show in this other cabinet here. I think they got some more caramel marble, the philodendron caramel marble. So they had some of those on the left there, and then the beautiful newer version of the Monstera on the right there. That is the Deliciosa lemon lime. That has those really lime-colored leaves, and it had that huge root, which I thought was cool too. And then I think you did see all these in the tour video, but I just had to show the variegated philodendron Atabacoense on the right there. And there's the very far right, the big pink leaf that I was saying in my previous video looks like a tongue. um, and then this was something new down here. Hopefully I'll show the label on that. But that variegation really caught my eye. Um, Did that? That didn't say synapsis, did it? I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. Whatever that is, it's got really beautiful variegation on it. I really liked the bright yellow against the dark green. But yeah, that was all I wanted to show inside the cabinet there. So we'll close that. And then I just wanted to do a little pan through the cactus and succulent. Every week they'll have a plant of the week that's on sale, and sometimes it'll be a whole genus. And for this current week, it was actually cactus and succulent. So this week up through when they close this Sunday, those are 30% off at the moment here. So I figured I would pan through that section just because they are the plant of the week. So yeah, a lot of cool variety of cactus. You can see some cryptanthus in the back. I see euphorbias. Those might be those might be the silver dollar vine right in front of me right here. I'm not sure what those were in the second chance plants. I think those were silver dollar vine, like that little section there. They had some ripsalis on the end here, which I should have looked where those used to be. Those just got moved there. I know those used to be in a different spot. And then I thought that this Diefenbachia here was especially beautiful. So I wanted to see what that was. Look how large that leaf is and just the really bright variegation on it. And I want to say, I think I'm going to wait until it shows the label to make sure I'm calling it the right thing. It's named after a country, I know that for sure. Yeah, look at that leaf, the variegation. But yeah, let's take a look down at the label here and confirm that I'm calling it the right thing. And of course, it was behind the voiceover. I'm 99% sure that is a Diefenbachia Ecuador. I know it was definitely named after a country. All right, so we're home from Lost in the Forest. Before I forget to, I wanted to point out my shirt. This is from David Morales here on YouTube. He was selling these, I think, this past spring, and I thought they were super cool. I had to get one. I think he had them in green and purple or maroon, whatever you want to call this color, but I had to get that color. I thought it really made the leaves stand out, the green. But so it's not very often that I end a video with like a whole unboxing, but I may have gone a little bit overboard at Lost in the Forest today. I had kind of a budget in mind, like including the gift card, and I there were just so many new Aglaonemas that I kind of went a little bit overboard. And I still also got the pot that I had picked out that I've been wanting for a long time. So, but yeah, let's do a little impromptu unboxing or unbagging here and see what I decided to get at Lost in the Forest today. So this first one is an Aglaonema Maria Christina, and I actually was not aware that they had these in the little 4-inch pots. And I also was not aware they had a second chance plants going on today. Um, Usually, I don't really tend to find any Aglaonema on the second chance plants. It's a little bit more common stuff, I guess. Philodendrons and stuff like that. I've gotten philodendrons definitely from the second chance plants sales before. But this one was in the second chance plants, and it was only for $5. So as soon as I spotted this, I grabbed it. And it does have a little bit of yellowing starting on the leaves. Usually for second chance plants, it's like their clearance in a way. Um, so they might need some rehabbing or just be growing weird or that sort of thing. So um, at the moment here, I'm not going to cut this yellowing leaf off yet. It's starting to turn yellow. but it still has a lot of green left to it as well. So eventually, when it gets really yellow and isn't really doing anything for the plant anymore, I'll probably cut that off. I'm assuming that one I'll eventually lose that leaf, but so that was the first one, a little $5 deal here. So and then there was actually another Aglaonema in the second chance plants section as well, and that one is inside of the planter here that I've been wanting for a really long time. So we'll pull those both out. This is the super cool planter that I've had my eye on. It fits my white color scheme for planters, kind of white and off white or neutral colors, and it's got like a almost a stucco texture to it. And yeah, I've been wanting this one for a while, and when I found out that I won the costume contest and the gift card, I was like, I'm getting that planter. And then inside of the planter is my other little sale deal here. So this one is an Aglaonema commutatum. I think on their website, this one was specifically listed as a variegated commutatum reverted, meaning that it doesn't have any variegation on it. Um, but yeah, this one was like 50% off of what its normal price was. And it's getting a little bit of yellowing in the leaves. I think it maybe got overwatered or underwatered rather. So it should be fine. It might lose a couple of these leaves that are starting to kind of get yellow, but he's in such a tiny little pot, so I'm sure he probably got dry a little bit longer than he liked at some point in time. So, and I'm sensing kind of a trend here. Obviously Aglaonema because they're my favorite, but got a lot of green Aglaonema with not a lot of coloration to them. And to be honest, the ones with more green versus like the pinks and reds and stuff can definitely be a little bit easier to care for and a little bit more resilient, especially to things like underwatering. So set him down. And I got so much stuff that there's a second bag over here. I guess we don't need this bag anymore. It's not as fun as a box, but um, so this one is really the main event right here as far as Aglaonemas. These are all new ones that they just got in this week, and I just couldn't decide which one I wanted, so I got a few. So you try to kind of carefully take these out here. So this first one is Aglaonema Chat Petch. Admittedly, I've actually had never heard of this one before until I saw that I was looking on their website and saw that they got some new Aglaonemas in. This one is the only one I got that does have a little bit of coloration to it, but it's got like the green with variegation, and then hopefully the camera's picking it up here, but it's got like pink down the centers of the leaves, like the midrib. A little bit of other pink coloration to the variegation as well in spots. And then definitely a very pink stem. I guess not very pink, but a light pink stem on that one. Very beautiful. Picked out like the most lush, the one with the most leaves, of course. I mean, don't we all when we go plant shopping? But they were all pretty nice, but this one had a couple more leaves than the rest of them, so a little bit bigger canopy, I guess you could say. And then let's see which one I can get out of here next. I guess I'll save the one I was absolutely planning on buying for last here. Um, I'd already kind of decided I was getting that one before I even went to the store, but then I saw all these and I just couldn't control myself. So This next one is an Aglaonema green dragon, and this one is green with then like kind of a yellowish creamish colored variegation to it. And this one really reminds me of like a Diefenbachia, just the coloration. And I always think that a lot of Diefenbachia are beautiful, but they're a little bit more picky about watering than Aglaonemas are. Um, so I feel like this is a good alternative, a little more drought tolerant than a Diefenbachia, because it is an Aglaonema, and it has very much kind of the coloration that a lot of Diefenbachia would have, with the green with the kind of yellowish creamish colored variegations to it. So really beautiful. So again, that one was Aglaonema Green Dragon. And then there's one more in here. So I got a total of 5 plants today. It's been a really long time since I've purchased that many plants in one day. And I would definitely say I splurged a little bit, and fortunately I had the gift card, so that did pay for a good chunk of it. But this will probably be my biggest like plant haul, so to speak, for the rest of this year. But again, I couldn't help myself. These beautiful new Aglaonema that they got. So, and then this last one that I've got here, this one I really knew that this was one of the things I was going to buy when I went to go and use my gift card today. This one is Aglaonema Honey Lemon. This one is super lush, a lot of leaves, and hopefully the lighting in here is going to capture this, but it has a very almost like neon green feeling to it, particularly the variegated bits, but it's got kind of a silvery color around the edges of the leaves almost. But yeah, green with like neon green variegation or kind of yellowish. It's very brightly colored one. I have seen these get even more of the kind of almost neon green feeling to them. So I'm hoping with a good amount of light, maybe this one will push out some higher variegation for me eventually. But regardless, it is gorgeous. And this is the one that again, that I just knew I had to have one of these. This was the one I went there intending to get. So I figured I would go to Lost in the Forest today, and that I'd probably come home with this and that white planter that I bought. Um, and then I came home with 4 additional things. But yeah, I liked all of the Aglaonema. There is like 1 or 2 more there at the moment that I don't have, but I couldn't allow myself to go completely crazy. So perhaps sometime in the next couple of months here, maybe I will slowly accumulate the other couple that they had. But these 3 in the bag here were my 3 very most favorite out of the new Aglaonema selection that they had. So and I feel like I should maybe try to do like an overhead view of these. I don't know how great the lighting is to do this right here though. Arrange them here and see if this will work or not. All right, I'm gonna take you down from the stand for a moment here, because everyone knows that the above view of Aglaonemas is the best view, especially when you've got a big grouping all together like this. So again, those 2 little guys there that were on sale or kind of clearance. probably eventually lose a couple leaves, but so again, they were the larger one is the uh, Maria Christina here. One was only $5. And then this one was the Commutatum, technically a reverted, formerly variegated Commutatum. As you can kind of see from the above view here, you can see what I was saying about getting mainly green ones today. This one was the Chat Petch here. That was the one that does have a little bit of pink coloration to it. The only one that's not more of a completely green one, but he has got a lot of green to him as well. So, also getting a bloom there, which I will probably cut that off. Usually don't let Aglaonemas get flowers on them, just because it takes away energy from growing these beautiful leaves. So, oh, that guy's a little top heavy. The Chat Patch there. And then this one again was the Aglaonema Green Dragon. The one that reminds me very much of like some sort of a Diefenbachia, but a lot less thirsty than a Diefenbachia. I'll set him aside there. And then the star of today's show, the Aglaonema Honey Lemon. And again, that one is just so very, very bright. Um, Without being bright in a colorful, like crazy pinks and reds kind of way. Still a very bright colored plant. Again, kind of almost like a neon green feeling to that plant. So, all right, plant buddies. I hope that you enjoyed coming along shopping with me today at Lost in the Forest. Again, their website is lostintheforestco.com. Forest with two R's, like the owner's first name. If you did enjoy this video, I hope that you'll consider subscribing to my channel. Definitely hit that like button for this video. And if you have Instagram and would like to follow me on there, I am on Instagram with the same username as here. So planty_buds. I hope that you all have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you next weekend with another planty video. Bye.